Hey, what's going on guys, it's Boost HD here, and a while back I did a video on the best pocket cameras that are out on the market today. So this is going to be an updated video to explain if you want to move on from using those pocket cameras or maybe your phone or your tablet to looking at something more that's set out for video. So I'm going to be mainly focusing on consumer camcorders and DSLR cameras. And this is going to be a quick heads up, just because the camera or the camcorder shoots in 1080p, that does not guarantee that the image quality is going to be superb. So there's so many other factors that you need to consider as well, such as the lens and the lighting conditions. So I'm going to start off with camcorder, since that's the mainly used device when it comes to video. So obviously the main feature of a camcorder is that obviously it's used for videography, so you're going to be able to record without any interruptions. You're going to be able to record long amounts of video without any problems until your battery runs out, until you run out of space on your SD card. So recording video on a camcorder is not going to be any problems when it comes to space. A lot of camcorders will have a built-in microphone, of course, and that is generally good quality. And even if the quality is not that up to scratch, you're probably going to get an external jack, so you can plug in an external microphone to increase the quality. Quite a few camcorders will allow you to use multiple SD cards depending on the price, of course, and this will allow you to record flawlessly without any breaks or stops in case you run out of space. So if you're recording a long concert, for example, you can record as long as you want. As soon as that card runs out, it'll switch over to the next one without any problems. So with the camcorder, of course, you're going to get a lot more video settings. This will include changing the bit rate or changing the frame rate, depending on what you really want out of the video. So this is mainly going to be found only on camcorders, since they specialize in, of course, video. And of course, camcorders are generally cheaper than DSLR cameras. For example, as when I did the pocket video, pocket cameras can be as low as £50, and general camcorders in broadcast cameras can be as high as £50,000 upwards, and that's just for the body of the camcorder. So you can see the massive price range to choose from, depending on what your company has or what the client wants or what you want to get out of the video. So there are a few disadvantages, of course, when using camcorders. For example, they have a very small sensor, which means they're not going to shoot very good quality video in low light conditions, which means you're going to get a lot of grain and a lot of pixels and all sorts of blemishes in the image that you don't really want when shooting in low qualities, which means you're going to have to keep on using a lot of studio lighting to bring the light conditions back up. Of course, you also can't change the lens. A consumer camcorder will not allow you to change the lens unless of course using a broadcast camera you can change the lens. But if you're going to be using a consumer grade camcorder, you're going to have to stick with the built-in lens which the camcorder comes with. And of course, there aren't very many manual features when it comes to using a camcorder. So for example, all the camcorder features on a consumer graded camcorder tend to be automatic zoom, automatic focus, so that won't allow you to get the depth of field you actually want when you shoot in the video. So let's move on to DSLR cameras. Of course, DSLR cameras main feature that you're able to change the lenses. Right now I'm using the 18-55mm kit lens, and as you can see, this gives you a slight depth of field, as I mentioned further on in the actual notes. So with this idea, DSLR cameras allow you to use multiple lenses such as fisheye, wide angle, zoom, prime, all sorts of lenses you can use when using a DSLR camera. This is going to enhance your videography skills as well as the actual quality of the video. And with using multiple lenses, a lot of these lenses allow you to use manual features such as manual zoom and of course manual focus, which allows you to get something called shallow depth of field, which is what I'm using right now. As you can see, I'm in focus while the background is slightly smoothly blurred out, and this is something you're going to see in a lot of film, a lot of music videos, as it's a feature that is used at professional level standards, and most consumer camcorders aren't able to get a feature such as this. So most DSLR cameras, or sometimes even normal pocket cameras, come with something called a hot shoe mount, and that will allow you to use accessories with the camera, such as an external microphone if the camera supports it. You've also got external flashes, light boxes, soft boxes, and things like that you can mount on top of the camera while shooting. So cameras, and more importantly DSLR cameras, tend to have a large sensor for shooting photos, and this is very useful for video, because when you're shooting in low light conditions, the large sensor is going to be able to extract as much light as possible to increase the quality of the image. So if you're going to be shooting in low light conditions with a DSLR camera, you won't need a drastic amount of lighting as you would with a consumer camcorder. So many high-end DSLR cameras are going to be known as something called full frame. So it won't crop the image when you're shooting, it won't crop the image when you're taking pictures. A lot of camcorders tend to crop the image, which means you don't get the actual full resolution that you want off the camera. And this can be a real problem, especially when you're shooting a lot of cinematography. So of course there are problems with DSLR cameras when you're shooting video. For example, they're very awkward to hold since they're mainly used for taking photos and not video. So what you have to go and purchase is something called a spider bracket, and that allows you to make a shoulder rig or something like that. You can hold the camera like this rather than having to hold it like this and shoot video, because that can be quite uncomfortable for long periods. Probably one of the major flaws when using a DSLR camera is the maximum recording time. My Nikon here allows you to only record up to 10 minutes a piece, where some Canons will allow you to go up to 30 minutes, but there are because of the wide sensor, you need to protect the sensor to overexposure of light, so it will time itself out to protect itself and the internals of the camera, which is why it can't record for long periods without stopping, taking a break and starting again. So if you're going to be recording long concerts, maybe you might have to go back and refer to a camcorder. But if you're doing YouTube videos where you're doing like short snippets or even indie films, using a DSLR camera won't be any problem, because you generally don't shoot for longer than 10 minutes a piece anyway. And of course the final problem with DSLR cameras is their price. They do start off pretty pricey. For example, it can be starting anywhere between 300 right up to over £1,000 for your standard run-of-the-mill DSLR camera. There is something called bridging cameras, but I'll save that for another video. So now guys, this has been the main comparison between a DSLR camera and of course a consumer grade camcorder. So if you did enjoy this video, don't be afraid to show your appreciation and hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. This has been Boost HD here. Thank you for watching. Take care, and of course I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.